Hey everybody, Eagle Run 23 here. I need a little bit of help with the 338 arc. Out here at the beautiful Quail Creek Range just south of Denton, Texas. Going to be doing a couple of things with suppressors. The new anechoic. This is a suppressor that I just found out about at SHOT Show, and I've got one here to play with. It's beautiful with its polished titanium, very lightweight, and very different designs. The anechoic comes apart very easily, and all of those baffles in there are able to be cleaned and maintained. Going to be shooting the Sub-X bullet. This is the 307 grain from Hornady, and I'll be running them in a 6.8 SPC magazine. The 400 Legend magazines are the best way to go for subs and supers, but these have run subs for me before, and I left my 400 Legend magazine on my workbench. So these will run in this magazine, and we'll either single feed them or let them get kind of clunky through here. Either way, we're here about the sound and to do some accuracy testing. On top for a scope, we've got the Discovery Optics MS 4-16, a very cheap scope, but I use it a lot for things like this when we're trying to test and dial stuff in. And of course, Bear Creek Arsenal with the bolt action AR-15 upper. That's a pretty nice group. For whatever reason, these are not ejecting very well. It ejected just fine when it was a 6.5 Grendel, but the 338 arc, something is going on and it's not grabbing it. So I need to play with that a little bit more to see if I can figure out what's going on. This suppressor is a baffle suppressor. It's got a baffle stack in here that you can take out and keep it clean, all that good stuff. Really cool design on here. Of course, flow through design, low back pressure. Takes the hub on the end. I got this one in the polished titanium, but it's also available in black and FDE. So we had that on the 338 arc for some testing. Went pretty well. I also got to try this over on 6.5 Creedmoor, which was also a very fun, shot some really good groups. There'll be a 6.5 Creedmoor update video here coming up in a couple days. So I need a little bit of advice. What are we doing as a community with the 338 arc? I have two guns that shoot 338 arc. We have the Bear Creek bolt action upper on an AT3 lower. Took the suppressor stuff off because we're switching things around. Then I threw on Discovery, a little cheap 4-16 that I really like for testing. Always nice to have an available optic that's not spoken for, that you can just throw on a gun and go test. The other one is right back here. It is the bright nickel with FDE and OD green. It's got a tucked suppressor. Really cool build with a tucked suppressor. Fun build over there. I really enjoyed the arc. I shot some good groups. I'll show you those here in a minute. But what are we doing with 338 arc? There has been very little interest in the couple of 338 arc videos that I've posted. I don't really know that you as an audience are really interested in the caliber, at least so far. That's kind of been what I've experienced. Thankfully, we've got some ammo from Hornady that we've used for some testing. I did some gel block testing.
Well, so you see fragmented a little bit here. There's the tip.
Oh.
It's just a plug. And then you you see some fragments along the way right here. And it just dived down and skipped.
I shot 8.6 versus 300 blackout versus 338 arc at some water jugs out at 100 yards. So that was kind of interesting. Done some accuracy testing that I'll show you here in a minute. But the couple of videos I've made, it doesn't really seem like people are very interested in this caliber, which is part of the reason why I did it in this bolt action AR-15 upper, just to kind of do something a little bit different, a little bit cool. We've got a Faxon barrel on here that shot some really darn good groups, and this gun has been, there's been nothing wrong with it. We're running a 6.8 SPC mag. I know that the 400 Legend mags do great as well. A couple of people still having issues with feeding, but for the most part, I think you'll solve those if you use a 400 Legend mag. I'm mostly using 6.8 SPC. I used it for Spectre and it worked well for that, and this is a very similar cartridge design. So I figured it would work for this, and for the most part, it's done pretty well. It struggles a little bit with subsonics, but it cycles supers just fine. So I need to know from you, what are you wanting to see with 338 arc? It's not, for me, a caliber like 8.6 blackout where I'm going to build a bunch of guns that shoot the caliber, and I'm not going to do that for arc. I have two, which is probably one too many. We've done some testing. It's not really something that you guys seem to be interested in. Do you want me to hang on to it? Do you want to see more testing? Unfortunately, it doesn't look as if the boutique ammo manufacturers are going to be supporting the caliber, at least as of yet. Maybe they will as time rolls on. We're coming up on a year that this caliber's been out, and I haven't seen ammo offered from some of those companies, which is really a shame because we've made some great bullet technology advancements in the 8.6 blackout. It seems like some of that should at least translate over into this, but I think because Hornady's loading for it, a lot of those guys are steering clear of it. At least that's kind of been what I'm seeing right now. Pros and cons are interesting. If you already have an 8.6 blackout and you're just wanting something that is smaller in the AR-15 size, you could potentially look at that. But then you get to a pro and cons list of 338 arc versus 300 blackout. And realistically, the 300 blackout, since it's been around for a while, loads are way more dialed on it. We have seen some really cool stuff, the 240s that you can shoot subsonic out of there. You are giving up 60 grains to what you can shoot over here, but if you're loading your own ammo, you can take advantage of the 338 calibers that are on the market with 8.6 and use those in your 338 arc. I do have a couple of really good groups. This was some supersonic stuff. The best group here was a 0.4. That's really pretty good. This was out of the Faxon barrel on that Bear Creek. Those are some pretty darn good groups. These two groups here are also in the 0.4, 0.5 range. Those are supersonic with that boat tail hollow point round. They did really well. The ones that are a little bit larger are the subsonic groups, group here and here. It's grouping pretty well. There's absolutely no reason why, even at a little bit of distance, you can't shoot a deer or a hog with 338 arc. There's no reason at all. I do think that arc will suppress really well. However, the powder that Hornady chose to load in the Sub-X bullet is a pretty poppy powder. It's not the quietest. I don't know what powder they're using. A reload would be a whole lot better of a choice there. So us that are reloaders, if you've got dyes for the 338 arc, you can probably get some quieter powders. Maybe something that has a little bit more consistency. The SDs weren't bad. I think I was under 15 or 16 a couple times that I've shot it, and the group sizes were really pretty good. I guess I'm just struggling for what are we going to do with this caliber. For now, I'm going to keep the two guns I have set up. We're going to keep running those. We're going to shoot through the ammo that we have. Both of these guns are easily converted to other calibers down the road, and it's possible a 22 arc or something like that could pop into one of these two builds. They both have Grendel bolts, and so anything on the Grendel bolt platform, 22 arc, 6 arc, would be fine in those guns, and I wouldn't have a problem switching any of them out. I'm enjoying the fact that we now have 3 suppressors that will shoot 338 bullets. I've got the Q pork chop, which is up here. We have the original Dead Air Primal that was the first can that I got. It is not so much a flow through design. It does a pretty good job of being quiet, and I like this. It's also very economical, very cheap. Good suppressor there. And then now we have the anechoic. It's a 35 cal. This one's a 46, so it's quite a bit larger than the 338 projectile. The 35 cal is a little bit larger, and then that pork chop is actually an 8.6 caliber can. You probably heard in one of my last videos we were talking about suppressors on 5.56. Stealth Additive is making us an Ekron 4.86, and there's going to be a couple of designs that are coming out. They're going to send those to us to play with and see what we think about them before they put this model on the market, which I think is going to be kind of fun. And being able to shoot arc and blackout through it could be helpful in that development. But I'm enjoying it in the bolt action. I'm enjoying it in the gas gun right here. They have both done really well and shot some decent groups. This one has a Mostech barrel, and this one has a Faxon barrel, both barrels that I've tested and showed groups on. And the gun groups, the caliber groups really well. Both guns group pretty darn well. You wouldn't be struggling for accuracy. Potentially more accurate than the 300 blackout. There's a lot of different loads out there, factory and otherwise, for 300, so some of them obviously are better than others. But I just keep asking myself why, and what are we accomplishing? What are we doing? So other than size and weight, what are we really gaining? I'm not for sure, and I would love your input. I get direct messages on Instagram and Twitter. I get a lot of emails. People are still building 8.6 blackout guns. I helped several people in the last week troubleshoot a couple of things, get some advice on a couple of different parts, and I love doing that. Not one time has someone emailed me about 338 ARC. Not one time has anyone asked a question in the comments or said anything about some of their builds. I just don't know that you guys are building 338 ARC guns. So is this a spectacle to you? Do you want to see me do some wild things with it? Do you want me to keep shooting water bottles and gel blocks? Or is this something that we're going to just kind of run its course here and then we'll move on to something else? I hate chasing trends. I'd be interested to hear and read what you guys are saying down below. So I guess I'm going to close the video off there. I'm in a bit of a loss. The thing shoots well. The bolt action is fun. By the way, if you're wanting a bolt action, they're doing a big blowout on those over at BCA. Links for that down below. There's a good discount on those, and they're pretty cheap. You don't have to do 338 ARC. I don't know if they're actually offering that as a factory option yet, but it's an AR-15, so you can barrel swap from any other manufacturer's barrel. But if you want a Grendel or a 5.56 or anything bolt action, they even have the 308 size, so you can do 8.6 blackout, 6.5 Creedmoor bolt action, all of those as well. They're on a big sale over at Bear Creek. All right, can't wait to see what you guys say down below. Help me out a little bit. Let's get a direction on what we're doing with this. Hopefully, several of you say, hey, we're really fired up about this caliber, and we can keep running with it. As for now, we'll just kind of run through what we've got scheduled and see what happens in the future. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.